is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
We begin with breaking news out of Western Oregon. Reports say 13 people are dead after a mass shooting at NEWS Community College.
A Douglas County official says the 20-year-old shooting suspect is dead.
A school official tells local media shots were fired around 10:30 local time, a little more than 3 hours ago.
NEWS Community College has an enrollment of around 3,000 students. People at the school have posted on Twitter saying officials are busing students off campus. Information continues to pour out at this hour. We'll keep you up to date during the show as details emerge.
In local news, police say they have more information on an alleged beating that took place more than a month ago. Quaisha Moffett, Janika Hillard, and Rashad Duran Moore are charged with mob action, aggravated battery, and criminal trespass. Back on August 30th, police were tipped off to a woman who appeared beaten in front of her house. Witness called police at 3 a.m. that day but did not release any information on suspects at the time. Moore has been released from custody while Moffett and Hillard are being held on a $5,000 bond. And blood on the floor. That's what police say they witnessed as they entered the change of pace for a routine check. Just last night, a fight erupted between two strangers at a local bar. Police say that Debella Chase Lee took a beer bottle and smashed it against the victim's head. A shard from the glass lodged itself into the victim's ear, and Lee suffered a cut in his hand. They were taken to the hospital where Lee was arrested immediately after for aggravated battery.
Macomb City officials are asking for more information from the Visitors Bureau after alleging the MACVB has not been supplying the city with information. Alderman Tom Cook was not happy Monday night when Kevin Nielsen spoke on behalf of the Visitors Bureau. Cook says he has asked before for more information but has not seen it.
And she never came through. So I want it this time, and I want it clean.
Yes, sir. Went on the record in the past about accountability when it comes to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They want to know where the money's going, how it's being spent. I think those are legitimate questions, and I think the CVB has gave us every assurance that they'll get us that information. They've even said here tonight they're looking at buying some, I think maybe some additional software was what I understood.
News 3 went to Macomb Convention and Visitors Bureau to talk to the executive director of the Visitors Center, Nikki Gray, about how she felt about what Cook said.
I guess my feelings were that we needed to maybe take a different approach about how we demonstrate some of the information. Although they receive our financial reports and some specifics on events, it became clear to me that maybe there was just a little bit different way that they're wanting to see it. A lot of the dollars that we
Gray will be attending the Committee of Whole meeting on October 12th. News 3 will keep you updated on the story as we get more information.
Midwestern families are preparing for the financial burden of higher energy bills this winter, and the Western Illinois Regional Council is offering some assistance. Tina Lovejoy with the WIRC says households with residents who are 60 or older or receiving disability can apply for the program beginning today.
Be safe and warm during the winter months because we have people who would pay that bill and not eat correctly or not buy their medications, and it just helps alleviate the higher energy costs.
Lovejoy says she regularly hears from the appreciative families who don't know what they would do without the assistance. Those who are interested in applying for the program can find more details on the Regional Council's website. But now we all know about the dangers of texting and driving, but a recent study has shown texting and walking leads to thousands of injuries and deaths every year. News 3's Jason Chauvin has the story.
Looking at your phone in public has become a norm in today's society. But what are the dangers of texting while walking?
I think the danger is when you get near intersections, right? So if you are near an intersection and you're on your phone, you're going to be paying attention to that and you're going to miss signals, traffic, etc. You're not going to see it as well.
When walking from class to class, we noticed a lot of people either looking down at their phone, talking on the phone, or had headphones in. But it's not only students who are guilty of this.
Yes. So I, looked at the time on my phone on the way here. I sometimes, I have an app where I record, things during the day, and I sometimes find like that's the time that I can do it.
Now we all know we've pulled out our phone at least once in public, but are there any other consequences besides bumping into people?
I tripped over a crack in the sidewalk.
I was on the phone and I wasn't paying attention, and I was by an intersection and I almost got hit by a car.
Occasionally I do text and walk. Sometimes I, might run into like a pole or something, as I'm walking, but, just, it's normal, I guess.
This goes to show that being on your phone while walking isn't the best idea. For News 3, I'm Jason Chauvin.
That's back in. It's October in the Midwest, and so come the cooler temperatures.
The average first frost in our area takes place within the next 2 weeks.
News 3's Nicholas Stewart joins us from the Storm Team 3 Weather Center with our first look at the forecast.
Yeah, we'll say it definitely feels like October finally. We have temperatures back in the 60s. If you're outside, I hope you really enjoyed the day today. It's very sunny, also pretty cool out there as well. As we take a live look outside the courthouse square, you can see a few of these fair weather cumulus clouds moving on through. You can see the temperatures at 65 degrees with the humidity up to 42%. The winds are gusting at times upwards up to 20 miles per hour. But other than that, a really good picturesque day to be walking around outside. A look at the satellite radar composite shows a shower activity off to the south and to the east. That's not moving our way. We're going to be remaining with the very clear skies. You can see a fair weather cumulus cloud just moving through the region. And temperatures across the tri-states are in the mid-60s. We'll take a look at the latest on Hurricane Joaquin. That is the big story in the weather world in a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Nick. Illinois legislators met with people from the area on Monday. Senator John Sullivan and Representative Noreen Hammond were at the Macomb Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Their big talking point, the state budget impasse. Both said their big concern is the impact the stalemate will have on students if funding doesn't come through for things like MAP grants.
I just keep being hopeful that something is going to push this over the edge, and I agree.
So I do believe this is going to take pressure. It's going to take pressure on members of the General Assembly in both parties, both the House and the Senate, and it's going to take pressure on the governor.
The state of Illinois is entering its 4th month without a state budget.
Rugby is a sport popular outside the United States.
But as News 3's Jalen Love shows us, it's the camaraderie that the name makes the sport among the most enjoyable.
Later in
It's Thursday, 4 p.m., the third and final day of another vigorous week of practice. The Western Illinois rugby team has their mindset on substantial goals this season.
Trying to make the playoffs and trying to be the best we can. I think we have a skill set right now that can take us far away into the playoffs and maybe international. So
keep in mind, rugby is not an easy sport. These guys are out here 3 times a week preparing physically and mentally in order to become a better team so that they can represent WIU at the national level.
Physically, you got to run. It's a huge running sport. And then mentally, you just got to learn how to stay calm and keep your nerves under control because rugby is an endurance game.
Besides preparing mentally and physically for the game of rugby, players must spend time just hanging out, getting to know each other. Although it is a club sport, it has the atmosphere of a brotherhood. And this is the reason the bond is so strong within this organization.
Is just being able to have a group of guys mostly to hang out with and then participate and play the sport of rugby together. Essentially what's so great about it.
Credit to the game of rugby, this brotherhood shall create many memories. Reporting for News 3, I'm Jalen Love.
Later in sports, it's a turnaround season for Bomber football. What they're doing to prepare for this week's opponent, West Hancock.
And still ahead, life after college. It's quickly approaching reality for seniors on campus. What the university is establishing to help with the transition.
Stories, they happen everywhere. At News 3, we go the distance and tell them firsthand. Across
across the region.
The tornadoes tore through a neighborhood in Washington, Illinois.
Across the state.
Here at the state capitol in Springfield for the gubernatorial race.
Across generations.
We have a lot of people that are very dedicated. We're all volunteers.
The stories that inform us, the stories that move us, the stories that matter from a fresh perspective.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Before the lights go on, dedication, teamwork, precision. Award-winning leadership brings you Macomb's only local TV newscast. On the air, live at 4, Friday mornings at 10, and online all the time. Our community, your community, News 3.
Take your train and go. Stand by 3 for the push-in.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up.
Now from Macomb, high definition, you're watching Colleen Judge, Anna Malay Sunika, Storm Team 3's 5-day outlook, and sports with Jenny Fry. Live at 4 continues.
It's that time of year, a tradition that has gone on for almost 50 years.
Spoon River Valley Scenic Drive kicks off this Saturday in Fulton County. Scenic Drive is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. all weekend. Vendors selling food and merchandise will be set up. The Scenic Drive is a self-guided tour that you do as you browse at your own pace. Join us tomorrow as we sit down with one of their directors, Chris Beatty. Homecoming continues as the Jim and Beatty Gardner Alumni Legacy Patio Project will hold a ribbon-cutting ceremony tomorrow afternoon.
University Relations says this ceremony is to honor Susan Wenzel for aiding Phase 2 of the Alumni Legacy Project. This phase includes creating better accessibility, more safe space for activities, and improving the front of the Alumni House grounds. The ceremony begins tomorrow at 2:30 in front of the Alumni House.
A new program on campus aims to help graduating students find employment after receiving their diploma. News 3's Billy Koch has the details.
Introduced into the job market is to find an internship. A company called Way Up is helping students find internships.
So Way Up is the online marketplace for students like myself that we find jobs and internships for other students across the country.
Way Up helps find internships with large recognized companies to help benefit students.
Find jobs for students as well as internships like Google, Uber, as well as Disney.
Way Up is a good program for students here at Western. It helps them get internships and be introduced into the workforce so they can find a job right after college.
Students create a profile on wayup.com, and this allows employers to find candidates that match their qualifications to apply for the job and actually book an internship and as well as a full entry job right after college.
Students here at Western are just starting to get involved in this program.
Way Up just actually started a year ago, and right now I'm just a campus rep, so my job is to go around Western Illinois and educate other students about what Way Up is and how it will benefit them later on in their future.
Billy Koch reporting from News 3.
We have seen cooler weather the past 2 days. Does this mean fall is finally here to stay?
Nicholas Stewart will be in the Storm Team 3's Weather Center with a look at the 5-day forecast next.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Thine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Hurricane Joaquin traveling northward at a slow pace, but New Jersey's Governor Chris Christie has already issued a state of emergency. A predicted landfall is still several days away, but given what happened following Hurricane Sandy 3 years ago, concerns run high all across the eastern seaboard.
Yeah, actually, I'll be out along the East Coast. Hopefully, starting tomorrow, we'll be starting our trek towards the eastern seaboard to study this hurricane with the Center for Severe Weather Research. Although the track is starting to push a little bit more east off the coast, saving much of the East Coast, but we'll have to take and see what it looks like, and we might be able to make that journey. But if we take a current look at that satellite imagery of Joaquin, it does look very impressive. A very formidable eye is starting to form in the center of the cyclone. Looking at the latest information from the 5 p.m. Eastern advisory, so 4 o'clock advisory, it is still a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 135 miles per hour. Pressure is down to 936 millibars. That is a very strong low pressure center. Strongest one so far in the eastern seaboard. If you look at the tracks right now, so much forecast uncertainty with this hurricane. We're not exactly sure where it's going to go yet. The red area shows the National Hurricane Center track with different weather models kind of pinging it everywhere. The European, for example, takes it just way out across the eastern coast, not affecting the United States at all. So we'll take a very close eye on that for the next several days. But across our region, we're looking at temperatures very mild. I mean, conditions are very kind of quiet across our neck of the woods. Satellite radar composite shows a few of these fair weather cumulus clouds moving on through, but really nothing to talk about whatsoever. Very, very much of a fall day out there. Tonight we're going to get a little bit cooler. A big area of high pressure really starts dominating, moving in that Canadian air. Cooler temperatures, probably upwards in the upper 40s, potentially even the lower 50s, as well as some of the airs get a little bit warmer. Tomorrow, more of the same. Temperature is going to be in the low 60s, again with those winds gusting at times a little strong, upwards of 10 to 15, even upwards of 20 miles per hour. More of the same tomorrow night. Again, a very stale forecast. Temperatures dropping to the 40s for sure, with even temperatures reaching 30 degrees up by the Quad Cities, I should say. For tonight, we're going to get down to about 42 degrees with mostly clear skies, winds gusting about 15 miles per hour. For tomorrow, 66 degrees, sunny skies, again, gusty winds upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour. 5-day forecast shows that October is definitely among us. Temperatures are very fall-like for the next several days. We're going to have temperatures beginning to increase into the beginning of next week, with once again reaching into the 70s by this time next week. So very, very dry forecast. Unfortunately, the East Coast is going to get pounded with some rain, but for us, sunny conditions and definitely more fall-like.
I'll take that. I'll take that. So what do you have for us, Danny?
Without doubt, and obviously all the athletes really appreciate that weather too. Up next in sports, Western Illinois volleyball back in Macomb for its conference home opener. NEWS3's own Cody Snodgrass has an inside look. Also, the Macomb High football team is on a 3-game winning streak with crucial games ahead. Hear from Bomber head coach Kelly Sears. And the Macomb High soccer team celebrated Senior Day on Wednesday at Edison Field. Highlights and more next on Live at 4.
Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change.
Let's go! To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet. Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Which planet are we living on? Right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Now, how do you make it happen? Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
My favorite thing about WIU is how much we work as a team. Everyone here has helped immensely, and when we work together, the outcome is amazing. Producing for the newscast, writing for the newscast, going to city council every Monday. It's something that I've learned that it takes a team. There's no such thing as an I. If there's an I, then we know that something's going to go wrong. I really do believe WIU has prepared me for the outside world. I can't wait to see where I end up. I have to thank everyone that has been involved. You know, Jasmine Creighton, she has managed to help me overcome that scary part, and the way that you have a great show is not the content that you have, it's the people who you work with. And here at WIU, I have had a chance to work with some excellent people.
Welcome back. I'm Danny Fry with sports. The Macomb High School football team only collected 2 wins last season, both coming against this week's opponent, West Hancock. The Bombers already have 3 wins this year as the Titans look for revenge.
We worked a pass in, and you know, the big thing is you know, where some other media guys were talking about our 3-headed monster with Bryce and Trey and Lucas, but the one thing about it is that there's one guy they forgot about in there, and that's our quarterback, Jacob Poor, where he's had in the last couple ball games, you know, he's pulled it out of the belly and took off and went to the house a couple times. Hey, are we in the playoffs? No, we're not. You know, we got to get 5 wins to make it to the playoffs, and once we get that 5-win goal, you know, we're not going to let up. And you know, we've had a mindset since the very beginning that we want to get in project playoff.
Next up for the Bombers is West Hancock, coming in with a record of 4-1 in a game where the turnover margin may determine the outcome.
You know, with high school football, the thing you got to realize is once you get a win and you start believing in yourself, it starts snowballing, and I think that's what they're doing. You know, they look very good on film, and I've been very impressed with them with everything I've seen all year long. I think the biggest key in the ball game is going to be penalties and turnovers, and you know, right now on the year we're +11 on turnovers, and I think any coach in the country would take +11 on turnovers.
Kickoff is at 7 o'clock tomorrow in Hamilton versus the West Hancock Titans. Senior day for Macomb High boys soccer was on Wednesday afternoon against Orion Sherrard. Last home game of the season for the Bombers, and Orion Sherrard United got started early. Scott Zamuda moves towards the box and scoots a shot past MHS goalkeeper Sam Jenkins. 5 minutes into the game, Jenkins would have a busy day. A 1-0 lead early for the Chargers. Race for the ball as senior captain Noah Clark sends it into the back corner of the net. He scored 53 goals last season. You see why with that shot. Down 2-0 in the 10th minute. Grant Hannett trying to answer for the Bombers, but a nice save by the Charger keeper Chase Fiedler, and the defense gets it out of there. Then Chris Daubert with an absolute rocket from way out for the goal. 3-0 Orion Sherrard up halfway through the first half. Here's a nifty lead pass to Hannett, who draws Fiedler out of the goal, but he boots away the Bomber threat. 3-0 was the halftime score, and the goals kept rolling in. Final score from Edison Field, Bombers fall 8-0. Another tough matchup on Monday for the Bombers in Normal against U High at 4 o'clock. The Western Illinois volleyball team is now focusing on Summit League play as they return home this weekend. Cody Snodgrass has more.
After starting the season off 0-9, Coach Richardson has his volleyball team in the right direction, winning 3 out of the last 7 games.
You know, it's definitely not a, surprise that it's taken us a little bit of time. We were expecting that, and that's okay. The key was getting prepped and having it all coming together at conference, which is what we're starting to see.
One player Coach Richardson has had to rely on is senior outside hitter Payne Crosser, who leads the team in kills with 166.
Work a lot on hitting around blocks and working on hitting high hands and over the block. So that's something that's obviously helped me a lot. We work on also just different shots, not hitting to the middle of the floor, kind of hitting the corners.
Coach Richardson and the Leathernecks are going to have a little more to deal with than the Mastodons from IPFW. They have to deal with this makeshift court they have in Brothy Hall.
You know, obviously the best thing for us is that we're in here all week practicing, so that gives us the opportunity to already be on this court and kind of get the feeling of the building and, you know, our surroundings. You know, we were in here in preseason too a little bit, so we spent about a week in here. So, we kind of, I don't want to say that it's not home because it kind of feels a little bit like home. We've been over here, we've prepped, so I think that we'll do just fine.
The Leathernecks will have its conference opener this Friday, October 2nd at 7 o'clock in Brophy Hall. For News 3, I'm Cody Snodgrass.
Thanks, Cody. The Leathernecks play IPFW tomorrow night, then also host IUPUI Sunday at 1 back inside Western Hall. Homecoming activities continue on Saturday as Leatherneck football welcomes in Southern Illinois. Head coach Bob Nielsen explained how his team will come out to play.
The guys are excited to be back at home. It's been a month. It's hard to believe, but it's actually been a month since we've played at home in that home opener against Eastern Illinois. We had a great crowd. I hope we get an even better crowd here Saturday afternoon and a crowd that will help give us that home field advantage at Hanson Field.
Kickoff is at 3:05 p.m. on Saturday at Hanson Field. Watch the game live on ESPN3. Should be a good one. 2 1-2 teams really squaring off for their rest of this season.
Are you prepared for it? Ready to go?
I am a little bit, yeah. On ESPN3, yours truly may make an appearance. So we'll see.
Well, then I'll make sure to watch this.
Oh, of course.
All right, we'll be right back.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Crack yellow.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Let's take one more quick look at Hurricane Joaquin spinning off over the central Bahamas. Again, it's a Category 4 hurricane out of a 5-point scale. Winds right now are gusting at 135 miles per hour with the pressure down to 936 millibars. Slowly moving southwest at 6, but will begin making its trek up the eastern seaboard. Much more closer to home, though, fall-like conditions for us. Temperatures in the 60s as we enter the weekend with mostly sunny skies. No rain at all in the forecast. Temperatures will begin to fall into the 40s over the nighttime, but very, very nice conditions out there for the next several days. Very much autumn-like as we enter the first full week of October.
Looking like a good weekend for homecoming.
I would say so. The game time should be very football-like, I should say. I think Danny can agree out there.
Without a doubt, fall weather's the best, really, for anyone to just put on a light jacket when you're watching the game. It's perfect.
And Nick, I better see some pictures uploaded to Facebook.
I really hope. Yeah, we can still get to go. I'm still waiting for the final phone call on the go-ahead, so we'll have to see what happens.
All right, that's all for us from our studios today.
But we'll continue online all the time. Check out news3wiu.com for updates on our stories.
For Nicholas Stewart, I'm Colleen Judge.
And for Danny Fry, I'm Anna Malazu.
And for all of us at News 3, have a great evening.